Well, hello everyone, and welcome to Hogarth's Global Astrology. Know your planets, know yourself, or know your nation, know yourself. Now, you will notice, or maybe you won't notice, but look here. I have got a lapel mic just to make sure that you can pick up my voice and stuff like that. Most people can hear me anyway, but I have had the odd person say, "Can you please turn up your microphone because I can't hear you when I'm cooking outside," or stuff like that. So for those people, you know who you are. I would suggest so here it should pick me up perfectly fine. But of course, either just listen, turn the volume up, or just listen in a more quiet place. Because what happens is if you are doing other things, if you're cooking or you're focusing on something else, there's something that happens with the ears where you automatically tune out noise that's in the background. It's the brain considers it a distraction from the task in hand, and this is sometimes why when you're doing something else, even if the volume is cranked up high behind you, you don't hear it clearly because your brain is focused somewhere else. Anyway, so just for those that have requested that specifically. Right. Anyway, let's get stuck in. Now, it's been a little while since my last video in terms of astrology and stuff, because of course I've done some wonderful collaborations with Dr. Lina Rodriguez. Why I always struggle to say her name a little bit. Dr. Lina Rodriguez. There we go. And of course Diane from Diane's Tarot, and the last two have been absolute crackers, which I'm sure you will agree, covering different things. So what we're going to do, what I'm going to do in this video today, I'm going to give a little presentation, a little bit of an update of what's going on. Now, you know this chart. This is the USA Constitution chart, and you'll see there's a few more planets on there. What I've done is I've literally just hand illustrated the planets on tracing paper, and then I've actually put the transiting planets in place to help everyone understand what is going on in that respect. Then I'm going to talk about Madame Ivanka and Duck Larange, because as you hear, the relationship between Ivanka, Aaron Krishna, and Duck Larange, aka Donald Trump, as we know, there's been some reports of, they're basically unhitching themselves from that wagon. So what I'll do is I'll discuss a little bit of Ivanka's chart in regards to Trump, Aaron Kushner, and I'll do that at the end. So of course, just watch the video to the end. I'm going to try and keep this video relatively short. I'm going to try and see if I can keep it to half an hour. But there is a lot to cover, and as you know, usually it kind of runs over, but we'll just see. So, bit of water. Let's get stuck in. Now, of course, I just wanted to start off as well with, I want to start off with a bit with Joe Biden. And as you know, I was saying to people, please pray for him and all that kind of stuff, because there were certain configurations in his chart that I didn't like that I was seeing. And recently, so thankfully, the trip to Europe and to see Putinska, that seems by all accounts to have gone extremely well. So that's really good. And I think those prayers and all that kind of stuff, it helps. Honestly, it helps. It's better to pray and have something mitigated and not happen than not pray at all and then something goes on. So what was also good to know is that it was just a straight up meeting between the two with live officials, but there was no food involved. Yeah, so someone couldn't slip a little bit of something into the water, hopefully. And if Biden did eat anything, I hope he brought his own food and took his own Tupperware, because we know Putinska is quite fond of, like, can I get you a drink? Or, you're tucking into, the beef stroganoff and, something else is going on. But anyway, maybe that's slightly unfair, but it is a reputation that is deserved, as we know with what's happened with Litvinenko, and many others have been poisoned. So that is not an unrealistic fear to have around that aspect. But anyway, we will see. But as I said before, more of the concern, especially in regards to America, is domestic. But also as well, there's an overall pattern happening here. Now, as you know, God, these sniffles that I do. As you know, I've looked into many other countries' charts. May have to look at France again because apparently Marie Le Pen, who represents part of the far right faction in France, is currently allegedly is ahead of Sarkozy. So that's very interesting. But of course, as we know, some of the biggest intrigues and drama are happening in the USA. So, and of course, this is also around the world. But as we know, most of my viewers are in the USA. But as you know, I read globally, as I did recently. But coming back to recent events in the USA, there is quite a lot to talk about. Okay, so let's look at the chart. This is the chart that you know, the USA Constitution chart of 1776, July 5th, 6 p.m., 6:30 p.m. Philadelphia. Yeah, this tends now people do debate, is this truly the time, blah blah blah, but this is a chart that works very well. It really does, and it gives the Sagittarius ascendant. Yeah, what's Sagittarius all about? It's about beliefs. Yeah, it's about freedom. It's about religion. It is about doctrine. It's also about extremism. Yeah, and I think we've seen an awful lot of those kind of things happening in the USA recently, but also as well when you look through the history of the USA, it is tumultuous, and most of it is based on what? Beliefs, particularly religious beliefs. If we think of the people that descended from, the Mayflower, or not even the people, but in terms of Mayflower, the Protestant aspect, that was a little bit too extreme for the UK, did set up in the USA. So it was always about beliefs. Now, just because we believe something to be true doesn't necessarily mean it is true. Yeah? This is just the aspect of human nature. This is the aspect of Earth School. We're all here trying to figure stuff out. But beliefs are very important, because do we believe in the correct things, or do we believe in the wrong things, or do we believe in things that are a little bit in the middle? The human story reveals to us that it tends to be all of those things and a bit of a mixture. Yeah? But remember, no one person has a monopoly on the truth. However, one thing that is very consistent and is very reliable when one is in the right place is the astrology. Yeah, the astrology is consistent. So what I want to show you here, before we go on and talk about the different topics, this is the USA chart as we know. Now, in tracing paper here, now I wanted to bring it closer, so that you guys could see, but if I brought the camera closer, you couldn't see these bottom positions here. But I just want to kind of point to various different parts on this particular chart. And what's great is now I've got the microphone. When I turn, the volume should stay consistent. Anyway, there is a lot going on right now. Now, I want you to remember when I was talking about the nodes of the moon, yeah? When we had the pandemic hit and strike, yeah, Rahu, which I've done here, but let's just point to transiting Rahu, transiting Ketu. These two. This is where the eclipses are happening now, yeah? In sidereal Taurus, which you can see, just under here, sidereal Taurus and sidereal Scorpio. Now remember, I am a Neo-Vedic astrologer. I use the sidereal placement, not the Western tropical. Yeah, not Western tropical. So Western tropical is 24 degrees ahead of the actual star placements, the actual nakshatras, the star clusters that I talk about. Remember that, 24 degrees ahead, because the sky moves backwards with time. 1 degree every 72 years. The sky is moving backwards, yeah? So in Western astrology, they are talking about Gemini, yeah, because it's the sign ahead, 24 degrees ahead. I'm talking about sidereal Taurus and sidereal Scorpio, 24 degrees backwards. So this is where the lunar eclipse happened, sidereal Scorpio, and the solar eclipse happened in sidereal Taurus, which was all on top of what? Trump's sun, yeah, which represents the kingdom. Anyway, but turning the clock back, now remember the nodes of the moon go anti-clockwise. The planets always go clockwise like this. The nodes go backwards. So the nodes of the moon, if they go back, they were actually in Gemini, sidereal Gemini, and sidereal Sagittarius, and in the nakshatras, the star clusters of Ardra and Mula. This is important. That's when the global pandemic struck. And there is something now, certain planets are connected with disease. Mars is connected with disease and pandemics. Neptune is connected with disease and pandemics, but particularly the nodes of the moon. And particularly so when they are in Mula, in Sagittarius, and in Ardra, in Sidereal, in Gemini. Yeah? When they're in this axis is when they're at their most potent and they're most destructive, because this is a very destructive part of the skies where tremendous upheavals and changes happen. So remember that. Okay. So why am I mentioning this? Why is this important? The reason why it's important is that even though the nodes of the moon are here, yeah, sidereal Taurus, sidereal Scorpio, and they are turning, next year they're going to go into sidereal Libra and sidereal Aries, yeah? But at the moment, they're slowly going round like this. Remember, it's all like a clock. However, the sun and the full moon, which I think is happening, today actually, today's the 24th, it's actually happening today. They are sitting in the nakshatras of Ardra and Mula. Remember, the symbol for Ardra is what? A teardrop. Mula is about tearing up by the roots. So the sun and the moon, transiting sun here, might be a bit hard to see, but there it is, and transiting moon here, are back in Ardra and Mula. So what this suggests to me is, and especially as a lot of the planets are going retrograde, we have got Jupiter going retrograde. Let me just check. Saturn is going retrograde. Pluto is going retrograde. And I think Neptune is soon to go retrograde as well. So what this suggests to me is that retrogrades are about what? Review. Yeah, having to redo something, having to go over something again. Now, with the sun and the moon both being in the places where Rahu and Ketu were at the time of the initial wave of the virus, what this suggests to me is that there could be a resurgence, yeah, of the virus again. And when we look at it, what are we all talking about? The Delta variant. Yes, the Delta variant. We're talking about that again. And particularly as well, so we've seen, of course, the situation in India that continues to unfold. We have the scenario here in the UK where the Delta variant is spreading more. Many of the population are vaccinated here now. I think it's like over 80% of people have at least had one jab. And then it's quite a high percentage as well of people who've had the second jab. So, of course, hardly anyone is now dying of the virus. Now, in regards to the vaccines, it's each person's individual choice how they feel about the vaccine. Yeah. Of course, many people will compel those to take it, but I would say it's an individual choice for each person. I won't go too much into anecdotal things that are emerging, but let's just say we live on a planet of free will and it's everyone's choice. But there is something here, some kind of illumination around the virus and possibly vaccines. Now, why do I say that? Transiting Jupiter here on the tracing paper here, transiting Jupiter is currently with the USA's moon. So look, you can see the moon there, and here's Jupiter on the tracing paper. You'll also see Neptune, planet of disease, is also with the moon. And they are all in the sign of sidereal Aquarius. Jupiter is sitting at the point of sky which is called Shatabishak. Yeah, I know the name sounds so funny, but this is Sanskrit. Shatabishak, the nakshatra, the star cluster, deals with, it's known as the sign of 100 healers or 100 flowers, but basically it's about these diseases that are difficult to cure. Remember that. Diseases that are difficult to cure. What this can also refer to as well as mental diseases as well, diseases of the mind, depression, schizophrenia, bipolar. This can also deal with addictions, drink, drugs, alcohol, split personality disorders. All of those kind of things can be covered in the nakshatra of Shatabishak because they are difficult to cure. I think it's one thing we can certainly all agree on is that COVID is proving far more difficult to cure than people anticipated. I think we can agree on that now, can't we? So here, Jupiter is here and it's stationing. What it means is it's retrograde, but it's kind of standing still. It's like when you're driving in a car, you're going towards a destination and then you're like, you miss a turning and then you need to turn back. So of course, what do? You don't just go at full speed and turn around. What you do is you slow down and you reverse, don't you? And then you go back forward again. That's what it's like with the planets. They are always moving forward, but from our vantage point on Earth, when we look at the sky, it looks like the planet's going backwards because we're overtaking that planet. But it also means the planet is closer to Earth, which means it's more powerful. So Jupiter is quite powerful at the moment and he's going retrograde, but he's stationing on top of the USA's moon. Yeah? What is the moon? The moon represents what? The mind, yeah? The emotions, our instinctive habits, how we feel about things. I always say when the moon is behaving well, she's like Thanksgiving. But when the moon is not behaving as well, she can be like Halloween, yeah? Also as well, we need to look at what houses the planets rule, what they're lords of. Now in the USA chart, the moon is in the 3rd house, which deals with what? Communications, travel, practical skills. It deals with the media, even with vehicles, aeroplanes, getting from A to B, yeah? That's what a lot of the 3rd house is about. It also deals with siblings as well. It deals with siblings, okay. So there's that context. But in the USA chart, the moon, the queen of the chart, the moon is always the queen of the chart, she rules what house? The 8th house. Yeah? Here. The 8th house. Now we all know about this. Say after me, how do I refer to the 8th house? The house of sex, death and rock and roll. Yeah? The 8th house deals with what? Secrets as well. Scandals. The 8th house deals with money, but other people's money in particular. It deals with resources. It deals with meditation, kundalini. It deals with transcendence. It deals with astrology. It deals with the occult. But it also deals with secrets. Yeah? The 8th house is relative to the 8th sign Scorpio, yeah, which deals with intrigues, secrets, hidden agendas, espionage. Things like that. What is it that we've been dealing with? Remember, the moon was in the lunar eclipse a few weeks ago, a month or so ago now, was in Scorpio. And what was coming up at that time? Everything about the hacks and this, that, and the other. So the moon is carrying that energy in the USA chart. And she rules, yeah, via the sign of Cancer. She is the lord of the 8th house and sits in the 3rd house of media in the USA chart. So as I've said before, what does this talk about? Malefic aspects to the media. People telling lies, yeah? We see it now. Now we see that everyone who's been obviously watching, all the tarot readers as well, including myself, when we've been getting what? Lots of swords of truth, yeah? Swords of truth. The truth is that there are aspects of the media that are just blatantly lying now. And we all know what those channels are. Now, does it mean the so-called good channels are perfect? No. Doesn't mean that at all. It's all on a gradient. It's all on the scale. But there are now certain channels that are blatantly lying and maintaining what? The big lie. Yeah? 8th house also deals with lying. Yeah? Not being truthful. Being manipulative. Yeah? The 8th house is known as it's a house of insecurities. It's where people manipulate a situation in order to maintain control, to stay safe. Yeah, that's essentially what a lot of that Scorpionic energy is about. But Scorpio is also a very spiritual sign as well. But it's a sign of choice. Will one do good or will one do bad? You know, that is often the choice of Scorpio. Will one transcend and metamorphosize, going from the scorpion to the eagle to the dove of peace? Or will one regress? Will one go from will one go to the dove of peace to the eagle and down to the scorpion? Yeah, which is what? Poisonous. So we see this is very important. So Jupiter is best friends with the moon. Yeah, best friends. Jupiter also represents optimism. Yeah, Jupiter represents optimism and the markets and all of that kind of stuff. So, and the moon, along with Mars, can represent real estate. Jupiter is expansion. What is happening at that moment? The real estate is, the prices have been what? Expanding. Yeah, huge. All of my clients, particularly those in America, are telling me about the price of real estate, how it's just ridiculous, no one can afford anything, yeah? Jupiter expands things, can often blow things out of proportion, particularly when he's with his best friend, the moon, yeah? Because they're friends. But also as well, Jupiter represents the priest, yeah? The priest or priestess. So the moon, who is the queen of the chart, it's like she's coming to the priest for confession. And she's going to be confessing her 8th house sins, so to speak. So all of this dirt and stuff that we see coming up is going to become even more, particularly as transiting Pluto is back in the 2nd house of values in the USA chart. Coming back to itself. Look, this is the true original natal position of Pluto, and this is transiting Pluto. You see, look, they're in the same house. Yeah? What does Pluto deal with? Power, agendas, manipulation, like the darkest aspects of humanity that we need to transmute and transform. Pluto in many ways does represent the swamp. Who's Pluto with? Transiting Saturn. What does Saturn represent? Government. All things to do with government, infrastructure. So Biden is trying to pass what? An infrastructure bill, yeah? Because that's one of the things that Saturn deals with. And of course they're looking at, Saturn also deals with rules and regulations, yeah? Voters' rights. But what's going on? That influence of Pluto, which can also represent dark money, mafia, billionaire, but it tends to be the darker side, yeah? But I mean, these things are being what? Frustrated, stymied, because of the dark agendas going on within the government. Now, you remember as well, and where I was talking about the solar eclipses and I was talking about Biden's chart, and I said there is stuff going on with his 12th house. Remember, the 12th house deals with what? Loss, secrets, yeah? Hidden enemies, hidden agendas, yeah? Foreign entities, things from overseas. Now, I want you to imagine that this is Biden's chart for a second. He's got Mars here, so he's a Scorpio ascendant, which makes Libra the 12th house. Now remember what I said, Libra also deals with the legal profession, judges, lawyers, all of those that are connected with legality, contracts and stuff like that. And I said there's going to be an issue there with lawmakers and such. Look at what's been happening with the DOJ. There needs to be a purge there of hidden enemies, because why? Certain agendas have been stymied and frustrated. Why? Because of the dark money. Yeah? In the USA chart. Do you see how it all links together like that? So, there is that issue. What we have as well, we've got Venus, Venus and transiting Mars are currently in America's 8th house. What is Venus? Relationships, peace, yeah, the peace concept, but essentially relationships. What is Mars? War, conflict. Now both planets are more sophisticated than that, and there is a good side to Mars because he represents engineers and he represents doctors and people that make incisions and are very strategic. Yeah, he also covers espionage as well. But they're both in the 8th house, which deals with what? Death, yeah? Sex, death and rock and roll. What's been happening? People are having tumultuous things happen in their relationships. We all know this. All you have to do is ask your friends, let alone watch the news. But what's been happening? There's been a spike in what? Murders recently, yeah? Gun crimes. I think it was like 260 something mass shootings have happened in America since the new year. But of course, what is the government trying to do? Pass some kind of legislation to try and sort it out. But you can see Venus, planet of relationships, transiting Venus, is with transiting Mars, difficult combination, and they are with natal Mercury, which is retrograde, and natal Rahu. This is a very, very bombastic combination which deals with a lot of conflict, conflict and strife in relationships. Mars also represents sharp objects like knives and stuff like that, but it also represents firearms. Yeah, what's been happening? The homicide rate has been going through the roof for America. All happening in the 8th house. It's also a challenging time for women as well, because Venus also represents women. But let's not forget the 8th house is also what? Money. Yeah, other people's money. Can also represent the stocks and shares to an extent. So there's going to be some kind of evolution here, some kind of change in regards to money. Mercury also represents currencies as well. So there might be something going on with the currencies, or some volatility kind of coming in there as well. Mercury is also the planet of communication. 8th house is a manipulation. So it's like certain elements within the government are turning up the manipulation factor up to maximum, as high as it would go. Now, isn't it interesting recently that the GOP, which I've got to think up of a new name for them, because it's just what they're doing is disgraceful. What did they do recently? I think it was just yesterday. They cut the debate. They couldn't even debate. No one was allowed to even debate this freedom, the voting rights bill. Can you believe it? This is it. This is happening in America, the so-called land of the free, and you've got certain members of Congress that are literally blocking even having a debate, let alone a vote on what? Voters' rights. 8th house. Manipulation. Remember, Biden's chart. This is happening in his 12th house. The leader of a nation's chart will always affect the national chart. So there's something going on with the legality, hidden enemies. There are people that need to be what? purged. The eighth house can also deal with purging as well. Certain people need to be purged from the institutions in America so that purity and light can come forward. Yeah, but at the moment, what are we getting? Shadow agendas from the dark money. Yeah, and all of that kind of stuff going on. Also, as well, Ketu, transiting Ketu is actually going through the 12th house of America's chart, which again is what? Foreign entities, hidden enemies. Yeah, when we look at it from this perspective, I know even though it's not the most joyful message, it does show what's actually happening. Yeah. So before I move on to Ivanka and Trump, and look at that, it's 30 minutes already. The time just goes so quick. I'll try and be faster. But anyway, I had to kind of cover those kind of things, and of course we'll discuss more on Saturday when I'm on Marie's table. But those are those big overarching factors that are happening right now. So a little chat about Madame Ivanka. What I will do is I'll put the link in. Now, many of you who watch my channel will know that I did an Ivanka special, an Ivanka Christmas special, way back where it seems now in 2019, and it was only just over 6 months ago, but so much has happened. And I was discussing, of course, about the presentation, about the beauty and all that stuff, and then a lot of people were just like, she's had surgery, and it's like, okay, fine, yes, she has, but when you've got Venus in the first house, Venus is also the planet of presentation. You're wanting to put your best foot forward. You always want to be well put together. When she's in public, that's what she does. You know, she presents a very strong image. But the important thing I want you guys to remember is I said that she will be in a power struggle between her father, Duc LaRange, and Jared Kushner, her husband. And I also said there will be some kind of made possible tension in the marriage or something like that. Now, it seems that they have definitely reevaluated things, and I'm almost certain they've reevaluated their marriage. Yeah, Gerard is now has signed apparently a 7-figure deal. Yeah, so we're in the millions here. 7-figure deal for his new book, which will come out at some point. And we know Duc LaRange is not very happy about it. Yeah, so again we see this power struggle where over Ivanka, where Donald is trying to influence Ivanka, and of course Jared is influencing Ivanka as well. But at the end of the day, Jared is her husband and Duc LaRange is Cra. Yeah, so she's gonna have to make a choice, and I think she has made that choice. And what is happening is there is that distancing. Now remember I was talking about in Ivanka's chart where we looked at her Navamsha, and I said there's going to be something that will happen where she's going to have to step back from things because of what her father has done in some shape or form. Her birthday is in October. Once she has her birthday, she'll be fully in her Navamsha. So big changes are coming, and that's why I was saying, you know, she could potentially, I even mentioned at the time that would be things to do with real estate and all that kind of stuff, and then she bought her place in Florida. But I think there could be even more changes, and she may move again. And I still stand by what I said, which is that both Trump and Gerard see leadership skills in Ivanka. And you're probably thinking, oh my God, shut up about her and this, that, and the other. But the point is, the astrology is the astrology. She does have a very strong connection with the USHR. And what I think would happen is this. Remember I said if she can keep herself out of jail, she stands a chance to be influential in government again. And I still stand by that. We're talking about someone who's very clever. If I remember correctly, her Mercury is in Virgo, so it's technically exalted. Yeah? So there's that. We're dealing with someone who's very smart, and she will do the various moves, is prepared to go through the transformations required to survive. Yeah? She's a survivor. Ivanka is a survivor, and I think she's learned a lot from her mother. Let's not forget that. Yeah? Her mother, Ivana, very cunning lady, you know, some call her the mother of dragons. So let's do a little bit of a read on Ivanka just to see what's going on with her life right now. This is going to be a general overview read. I could go specifically, if you guys want me to do another kind of deep dive into her chart, then put that in the comments. If you're tired of me talking about her, fair enough. But the only reason why I mention her is because she is relevant. We are talking about someone who is the daughter and was also the chief advisor to the former USA president. That makes, oh, look at that. I just split the deck. Relationships. She's really looking at her loyalties, her relationships, particularly. This is about her marriage as well. So I think she's strengthening the bond with her husband, yeah? And they're both planning. So anyway, let's have a little peep and see what's going on, and then we'll have a little look at Duck L'Orange, and then we will finish it there because I don't want the video to be too long. All right, let's see here. And as you know, I like to fan out the cards. Ooh, should be that one. Yeah, I'm going to pull 5. Actually, that one. And the outcome. All right, I've pulled 5 cards. Let's have a little look here and see what's going on. I'll just flip. Aha! We have the Ace of Swords, the Wheel of Fortune, 2 of Wands, 4 of Swords, and the Ace of Pentacles. All right, here we go. Looky here. All right, Sword of Truth. Yeah, Sword of Truth. What this means, but aces are all about what? Fresh starts, initiating something. Aces are very declamatory in the sense of they proclaim, yeah? So, and swords are what? About the mind, yeah? And this, of course, is the Sword of Truth. Ivanka has reached a certain truth and understanding about the reality of her life, the reality of her father, and the reality of her marriage. Remember when I split the deck, it was the two of cups, yeah? She is now in a very fateful moment in her life where the wheels of karma are turning. This is a pivotal point in her life, but look, it's the right way up. If it was reversed, then it means, look, the devil, the little devil here, the little demon, will be on top. But for her, it's come out the right way. So what this would suggest is that the plans that she's making are to extricate herself from all of the implications, yeah, of what is going on. And she might succeed, yeah? Let's not forget, we're talking about someone here who is a smart cookie, yeah? She's not stupid. She's not stupid. If we look here, in terms of a further development of that story, we see the 2 of Wands, yeah? Now, the 2 of Wands, when it's the right way up, you see... No, is it 2 of Wands? Yeah. It's the 2 of Wands. If you look here, do you notice there's a globe? Yeah? There's a globe in that man's hand. So what's that about? Foreign things overseas, yeah? Waiting for one ship to come in. You know, this is about making plans and all that kind of stuff, but it came out reversed. Now, remember I said back when I was discussing, I can't remember, it was on the eclipses, and I said she would have some kind of loss. You remember Joe Biden did what? Chopped off all of her foreign businesses, yeah, or links to China in that sense, from what we know. So here we see that there is a delay. The card is reversed. Yeah? Reversals don't always mean delay, but in this instance, if you're waiting, if you're making plans, so there's a delay, a review of the plans, yeah, based on what? Truth, reality. Yes, she's reviewing her plans because she's just like, oh my goodness, I'm in a fateful time right now and I better play my cards right. If we also look here as well, we see here the 4 of Swords, which is what? A card of retreat. Yeah, if you look here, the guy's lying down. Yeah. Now, if it's the right way up, that would be like, it can be taking a step back, retreating, yeah, after maybe a wound in battle or meditation or stepping back. Here, this is intensified even more. She is really stepping back. And isn't it interesting? They said this, she's stepping back from what? Her father, potentially, because she's understanding the truth of the situation. She's understanding that the wheels of fate are turning, that she needs to be careful. She's had some of her overseas plans scuppered, yeah, her businesses and stuff like that. And now she needs to retreat and reflect and review everything in regards to what? The money. Look at that. Two aces. She's got two aces in a 5-card spread, and she's got the Wheel of Fortune the right way up. Yeah? She's clever. Yeah, she's thinking about her money, the money that she's made. Now, apparently, the two of them have made an absolute killing, but also as well, the husband has what? Just been given what? A 7-figure book deal. Yeah. So really and truly, I think what's happening here is Ivanka is assessing her independence. She certainly doesn't need her father for money. Yeah, and she's just reviewing everything overseas. So this is not the end of Ivanka as yet. I would say her cards overall are pretty strong. Yeah, we're dealing with a canny customer here. Now let's look at Duck Larange, and let's have a little slurp. I just thought, yes, it was just time to combine these things. So let's see what's going on here. And we still need to look out for Biden as well. Keep the prayers up. It's protecting him. Yeah, it's working. It's working. Such a shame about Champ. Just to talk about Champ while I'm shuffling. In Biden's chart, in fact, let's have a quick look now, just so you can see what I meant. Crumbs, I should have, never mind. Anyway, if we go here, and if we look at Mr. Biden, now we need to remember, transiting Mars is in his 9th house. But remember, there's a special aspect to Mars and Jupiter and Saturn and the nodes and moon. But Mars looks 4 places, 7 places, and 8 places from himself. Yeah? So if Mars is here, 7 places is opposite is the 3rd house, yeah, which deals with communications. 8 places is the 4th house, which deals with real estate and the home and the heart, comfort. 4 places is 1, 2, 3, 4. Libra. 12th house, house of losses, yeah, for Biden. But we need to understand what houses does Mars rule in Biden's chart. Rules his 1st house, him personally, and it rules his 6th house, which is also known as the house of enemies. It also deals with health and stuff like that. But the 6th house also deals with what? Pets. Pets and animals. Mars gave his aspecting himself, yeah, natal Mars in Joe Biden's chart. And what did we see? Champ is no more. Yeah, so I knew that. So we just have to see. Keep praying for Biden and all that stuff. This is not a scare tactic or anything like that. It is when we pray and hope for the best outcome for other people and stuff like that. It helps mitigate any negative energy that is around them. Yeah, so we've still got Biden here. I still think there might be some health issues going forward. But whatever there is with the hopes and the prayers, it helps. It softens it. Yeah, remember like with Sleeping Beauty when Maleficent cursed Aurora. Yeah, she said she's going to die when she's 16. She'll prick her finger on a spinning wheel. And the other fairy that didn't have a chance to give her blessing because Maleficent gate crashed, she softened it. Yeah, Aurora fell asleep. She didn't die, and then she woke up again, yeah, with true love and all that kind of stuff. When you pray for someone, and when you wish for the highest outcome, any mishigas that's going on gets softened, mollified, but it doesn't necessarily remove it completely, because there are things called samskaras, which are karmas that just have to happen, but it all helps. Anyway, right, Duck Larange. Ah, gosh, I'm almost at 45 minutes. All right, Duck Larange, Duck Larange, Duck Larange. Let's have a little look and see what's going on with the circus master. Duck Larange. All right, 5 cards with Duck Larange. Let's see what else. Oh, that one. That one. All right. See if I can keep this under. What do we have? The Empress, which we all know is a card for what? Russia. The Tower, reversed. 4 of Wands, reversed. Four of Cups reversed, and we've got the King of Wands upright. Okay, let's just get straight stuck in. Here we are. This is the Empress, which deals with what? Fecundity, yeah? This is like the motherland, fruitfulness, bounty, yeah? All that stuff. But as we know, for many readers as well, the Empress card often deals with Russia, yeah? So isn't it funny? I pull on Duck L'Orange, and what comes up? The Russia card, yeah? So we all understand what that is all about. This is what he's worried about, this disclosure of all of these things, of all of the naughtiness that he's been getting up to over the years. And then we look here, there is the Tower card, but look, it's reversed. So what that means is that it still has that aspect of upheaval, but it shows that really it's happening in his internal world, yeah? There is an internal upheaval in Trump. Now imagine, he's just had his 75th birthday recently, and basically your wife and your kids don't turn up, and all you actually get is a tweet from your son, which you can't even read because your account is blocked, yeah? Yeah, not good. But you see, but there is this tower moment here, but it also as well suggests that a person is trying to rejuvenate from a tower moment, which of course for him was what? Losing the election. I think this is also as well him realizing, if this is Russia, let's say if we think for a moment of Putinska, yeah, maybe there's some kind of private rejection that has happened where Putin is like, done with you now, yeah, could be an element of that, which we won't know about, but Trump could be internally devastated by. He's also seeing his numbers drop. His blog obviously, didn't go anywhere. What's the next card? We see here, this is the Four of Wands. When it's the right way up, it's what? The happy home, celebration, marriage, everything going right. Quite literally, we turn it round. Things are not right in the home. Obviously not. If your wife doesn't turn up to your birthday and she's, AWOL, nowhere to be seen, then of course there's issues. And then look, it's next to this reverse tower. So what this shows is a lot of Donald Trump's private life is really suffering. And people also as well getting bored of him. Apparently his inner circle are getting bored, of his constant saying, oh, the election was stolen. Yeah, people just like, yeah. If we look here, Four of Cups, yeah, reverse, what's the Four of Cups? It's about making choices, making decisions, yeah, not really liking what's on offer down here. And then even what comes out the sky is not wanted as well, and it's reversed. So this is, in many ways, it even deepens that as well, but it can also speak as well about psychological illness, yeah, not feeling well. He really doesn't like the options that are available. And if we think as well, what the bodyguard recently has also been pulled up as well. And then when we see here, that's the final card, the right way up, this is what? It is the King of Wands. The King of Wands is who? He's an entrepreneur, yeah, he's intelligent, he's an entrepreneur. He's a man of the world, yeah. This is very much how Trump, of course, sees himself. Because even though in many ways he was an absolute failure on many levels, yeah, because, he's lost so much money. More than many people in history. But he has an entrepreneurial mindset. So Trump is trying to apply his entrepreneurial mindset to his situations to try and resolve all of these things that he doesn't like, yeah? Or so the situation with Russia, he's having to think now because he's like, oh, I don't think I've got Putin's support anymore. Because look, the tower in between, yeah? It's happening between what? Russia and the family, yeah? Things turning upside down. He doesn't like the options available to him right now. And he's trying to be entrepreneurial about it to solve his problems. Now, we know about the cra things he said about, being reinstated and all that kind of stuff, which would take what? An insurrection. Whether or not he'll have the support for that, I'm not sure, because of course when we look back here, people were getting bored with Trump, yeah, frustrated. Even if they did want an insurrection, I think over 400 people have been arrested now. What's the likelihood that you're going to throw your hat in the ring again for Duck L'Orange? Pretty slim. However, we do know there are wicked people, wicked, and I mean genuinely wicked people in the GOP that still want this kind of outcome, yeah? So they're prepared to kind of go along with, Trump's vision of himself as this grand entrepreneur if it will get them the win, yeah? Remember as well when I was talking about the 8th house and the 12th house, there's Michigas going on, secret enemies, people that are working against the American people in that sense in terms of freedom. Trump is doing those things, but his internal world is crumbling. It's not going so well for him. So there. Oh, 49 minutes. So I'm just going to stop. I'm going to stop it there. I always end up going over, but there's so much information to cover. So if you would like a consultation with me, then of course feel free to visit my website, which is thearchetypalblueprint.com. Of course, I offer tarot consultations as well. Thank you so much as well for those people that have purchased those. It's been so interesting. I can look at everything from, wealth, finances, relationships, what have you. You just go to like the booking section or make a booking and you'll see everything that I offer there. Bookings for July are open. Of course, I'm taking a little break. I'll still be making videos, but I need to look at courses and all of that kind of stuff. So thanks everyone as well for the new subscribers. Wonderful. Thank you to those that have been with me from the beginning. You're wonderful. Mwah! And you will see me hopefully on Saturday. Now that Marie's internet is sorted out, you'll see me there with Marie, with Ganga and with Diane, and then we're going to talk more about the USA economy in depth, and then we'll see how things go from there. So thanks everyone again so much for subscribing. Thanks for all the comments. I try and get back to all the comments, but it's a lot now, but you guys give me such interesting information, so thank you, and I'll see you on the next one. All right, cheers, bye-bye.